All right, so I wanted to come on here. I'm having a problem with latency for some reason. I have no idea. This seems to be going on here recently. A lot of weird glitching and stuff. So anyhow, I wanted to come on here because it's something that was has been concerning to me for a very long time, very very long time, and I had said very little about it over the years, and it has to do with there is a lot of there has been this ongoing, purposely from what I can see, divide in respect to working together collectively and being of service with one another. And this online experience that I have been part of is the antithesis of what I have been used to in regard to working with communities within the real world. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. And if we expect anything to change, we have to stop flying from one cage to another cage, because this is what we've been doing. And we've been embracing this as being normal behavior. You know, we make proclamations of being awakened and, you know, embracing the idea of sovereignty and freedom and all this other thing related. And yet we're really just having one cage open to fly into another one. Because this online experience has become a substitution for real life interaction and participation. We compete with one another online for ratings. I don't really care, but what I noticed and what is taking place is just that. There's a competition. There's, it's about views, about likes, and all these things, which simply in any other name is just ratings. Like within television, it would be marked as being ratings. And I just posted about this. Do we really need more video stardom? Why is it so many people want to become this thing online like it's the normal thing? It's only a tool, but again, it's really a substitution for the real thing, and it's been embraced as being the real thing. So there's degrees of separation that we have with one another because of this. And it's as if it's a normal thing that we should be doing. And hence the reason why I use the analogy of flying from one cage to another. And of course, here again, I am speaking to myself. I do these live streams here unannounced, and it's kind of like my point. The whole thing is built around commerce. All this is built around commerce. Marketing, it's all built around the idea of resource. This whole world and the people within it have been treated as a resource, and yet we continue to walk within that. We continue to embrace that as being a normal thing. Well, the people here within this world have been treated like livestock and continue to be that, and people just don't know the difference. They fly from one cage to another cage, while proclaiming, I'm free, I am free to do this. Well, not really. If you expect change to occur here for those that know the difference, truly know the difference, And I'm referring to the spiritual communities, not the secular communities. For those who claim to be aware, those who claim to be awakened, if we don't work with one another, if we don't collectively come together and put aside the ego and all the things that go along with that enough to be able to find a common ground to be able to work with one another effectively, it's just going to be the same old, same old. I find that over the years, I noticed before I came online with the things that I was involved with, that people have a tendency to work within certain small groups and kind of make it exclusive to that. And as the group grows, it kind of becomes that thing. And it usually takes, like with when I was in the church, it usually takes somebody who is willing to step out of everything and to organize and bring people together in order so that they may begin to work with one another on a simple common ground of love-based conviction. We can't continue to move from one cage to another and make the proclamation that we're free with what we're doing. We're just moving from one imprisonment to another. In order for things, again, to emphasize, for things to really change, we have to work collectively together and put aside the idea of, well, I have 3 books and I'm this person and I've been in the limelight for, 30, 40 years, if we can just take some humility and step back and serve one another according to or within that sense of humility, maybe we can get something done. One of my complications that I had with myself when I looked to try to make a transition online was I reached out to various people and I hardly got anybody responding back. And that reason, obviously, is what I'm referring to. There is this focus on what somebody else is doing as being the most important thing. And it's not exclusive. It's the uncommon thing is what I referred to, what I posted here just a few minutes ago. I had written something within the post, within the community post here. And again, to emphasize, it's really about usually when somebody steps forward that is a respected individual within a leadership position to unite and bring people together so that they can work with one another is when things take place. But mostly people just don't do anything. So there has to be motivation. My desire, and has been for quite a long time, is that everybody would act as their own leader, and that way the workload would be equally distributed. But it seems to be the same old thing, When I attempted to reach out to certain people, like George Kosovasilis, Alex Collier, a list of others, I got totally blown off. I was totally ignored. And it wasn't because they were so busy, because I've known people at the time that I had connection with, that they had contact with these individuals. Okay? And we can't afford to do that. We can't afford to be isolated. We're divided, we're scattered, and we're in our own little bubbles, and we're not working with one another, and we're calling ourselves free. And we're not. We're just flying from one cage to another because we don't know the difference. It's only because we're just not acting on the simple things. It really boils down to the simple things. Having enough humility to be able to see the simple things. You know, this is not about me. This is about the work that I have within this world and trying to get people motivated to work with one another. I mean, I've been on here for 14 years. You know, there's hardly any momentum here for me. Anything. You know, if I had a greater position, then I could be more effective because people would actually listen to what I'm looking to do. Because my intention is not for people to follow me. I have no interest in that. I have interest in only being inspiring so that people become their own leaders. Again, to emphasize, so the workload is equally shared because we need to work with one another. James Gillian, George Kosovopoulos, Michael Sala, name all the names you want to name, the big names, and then all the people that nobody knows and the people that over the years that have been working behind the scenes in secret for the benefit of humanity. We all need to embrace one another and accept and encourage one another and work with one another. Without it, we're just going to fly from one cage to another saying that we're free and we're awakened and all this other stuff. And it's this marketing out there, all this stuff that goes on, the video star, seems like everybody wants to be a video star. You know, okay, fine. But this should not apply to the spiritual community. It should be more enlightened. It should understand more of what's been taking place in this world and not walk according to the steps of this world. Being in the world, but not of it. But they just follow along with the program. Exactly. You know, I mean, this is one of the few places that you have to pay to live, this world. And we can change all that. But we're not going to change it if we cannot change things to the better if we're just going to be within our own little isolated bubble. A lot of us have a lot to offer, but we have no platform for it. We need to be able to work with one another. Like I said, there's plenty of those who've been working in secret for a very long time. Nobody knows who they are. Those people are seasoned individuals. You know with what I'm saying. So this is not about cult of personalities anymore. This is about equality and respect and looking to work through a simple love-based conviction. That's something we should all be able to agree on. And just out of respect, and if we all can hold a simple understanding that it's for the benefit of all life, then we're all doing good. And that's enough. We don't need to agree upon anything more than that. You know? So, you know, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do what I'm doing, you know? And honestly, things have been frustrating. Trying to get things to go, try to get things moving, trying to do all that I can do, and it hasn't been enough. You know, it's not that it's, you know, everybody should has, well, at least up to a certain point within their life, understands this. You get at a certain stage, certain things that you have become extremely important and valuable in regard to how it can affect many people. And if it's for the benefit of others, then it has such more of a greater impact, or could. But if it's not heard, and if it's not shared, and if it's not experienced, or it's not present, and this is what I'm talking about here. I want to have people become present. Those who are not known, those who have been working behind the scenes, those who have only a few followers or whatever, but they have a pure heart. All this needs to be supported and encouraged, you know. Hi, Daphne. Hi, Kimberly. Appreciate you being here. I'm just going to continue to say the things I've been saying for a long time. I'll just keep repeating myself like a annoying echo until it's heard, because it's not about me. I'm just a voice. I have what I have to offer, and I know the value of myself. But we're not going to get anything done if we don't work with one another. We have to put aside our different indifferences and just focus simply on a common conviction, and that is for the benefit of all life. Again, to emphasize that. If we can do that, we're good. You know, put aside egos, put aside agendas, put aside the brand, put aside, you know, the work that we've done. I probably 86th more of the things that I've done in this lifetime than I've actually kept and held on to. We need to persevere, but we don't need to focus on the same things in the same way that the world does. This world is controlled, and we no longer need to be part of that control. Being in the world is different from being of the world. And those who are aware and been walking the path that they've been walking spiritually know that they're not of this world. You know, well, I appreciate you. That's the whole thing. We need to appreciate one another and highly esteem one another. You know, reaching out. What I posted here recently, probably like 15 minutes ago, or whatever it's been, is asking for people to contact everybody that they know for the purpose of working with one another, building a community that deals with everybody that's well known, any well-known person that you can think of, to the person that only has like a few followers, or people that you know that are doing things in secret. Everybody needs to come forward now, and everybody needs to come together within that simple conviction for the benefit of all life. That's all we have to agree on, and we can work with one another. But we need to reverse this division that's been taking place and acting like that division that we have going on as being normal. It's not normal. It's still part of flying from one cage to another cage, saying I'm free, then fly into another cage and think it just so happens to be a bigger cage, but it's still a cage, and you're still in part of the world system. It's really not that complicated. We just need to break the hypnotic trance. And the only way we can do that is just acting on this simple conviction. Doing, sharing this message. It doesn't have to be me doing it. It just needs to be shared and constantly shared until we get it to where people that are in a position of leadership that people quote unquote respect because they're well known start saying these things and then demonstrating it through example. That's when things will start to change. But everything will remain the same or worse if we don't, because we're just going to continue to isolate ourselves and be part of the world and all the things that relate to that, which is exactly what was intended in regard to the agenda of keeping things the way they have been. Again, flying, the analogy is that we've been flying from one cage to another thinking we're free. If we're free, we're going to create a new world. And we have the ability to do that. We have the power to do that because it's for all the right reasons and it's the right energy, meaning it's the original intention, the original love intention. Yes, a lot of yeah, that's great that you're mentioning that, Daphne. A lot of this is going on right now. Um, there's a whole lot of just the sense of resolve and moving into the new, you know, and when you have the conviction, which obviously you do, you just start acting on it. The thing of it is, I've been kind of preaching to dead air for a long time, especially online. This has been 14 years. It's been a whole lot of dead air. Okay. But you just keep doing it because you know it's true. It is what's required until you find a better way to be able for that understanding to be shared in a way where it becomes, a domino effect, for lack of terms, with others. But this message, it's nothing new, and it needs to be shared, and it needs to be it needs to be common understanding for all of us. You know, we need to work with one another. We need to be humble, right? We need to be able to submit ourselves. And those are, apparently, my experience has been, for those that are in a higher awareness crowd, they're well known and so on and so forth. It seems to be a lot harder for those folks to be, humble. They want to surround themselves with other people that are like them rather than reaching out to things that have need. I'll give you an example for this. I'll just make up. Here's where the rubber meets the road for me, because I was involved in ministry, is where you get down in the gutter with people when they're stinking. When they're stinking and they're dirty and they're wounded and they need cleaned and they need healed, and people who need their butt wiped and everything else. You do the things that people don't want to do because you love them. Enough of this video stardom, enough of the cult of personality, enough of this nonsense. It doesn't belong within the spiritual communities. It's time for us to grow up. And you gals know what I'm talking about. Very passionate about this. It doesn't have to be about me. I'd rather be behind the scenes and not be seen. I'm just out front because somebody's got to do it. If somebody else could take it over, I wouldn't mind at all just stepping out of the picture. But we're in competition with one another, just like the world. Just like the world, we're in competition with one another. We got to make better. We got to make better videos. We got to have better graphics. We have to have better production. It's nonsense. That's not what we're about. It's not competing with the world. There is no competition. If we stand up within ourselves and make ourselves available truly to one another, it'll be self-evident. We'll change things. Makes me want to cry. It really does. That's what I wanted to say. Contact everybody that you know to contact. Spread the word if you could. Because this is what this is all about. Let's make one another accountable, okay? If we don't, everybody's just going to stay in their hypnotic state and within their agenda and just go through the routine. It's interesting. I'll listen to people, no offense to anybody, but they're like They're like in a program. They're just repeating themselves over and over again. It's like a TV show. It's like scripted. Somebody's got to wake us up, and that's us. Anyhow. Well, I'm going to leave you with a song because I'm going to go ahead and close out. So, if you could, within the community post I posted there, you can read through it, but you can just go to the last line because I covered pretty much of everything, and just asking people to do what they can. So I'm gonna play something here and just leave after that. So I'm gonna stop the stream. Thank you. I appreciate you, Kimberly and Daphne, for being here. We are the love we've always been. We are the love we've always been. We are the love we've always been.